Hey, football fans, welcome back to a very special game day edition of Lions Latest, the show where we gather around to talk about the greatest team in the NFL, the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Bryan Hanes. I'm not your Bryan Hanes host. We have some stuff to talk about before the game tonight and some comments at the end, so let's jump straight into the video. Starting off, yes, the lighting is kind of weird. There's no more overhanging light, it's just my ring light. We are currently going under construction at where I'm at right now, and we are putting in the new background this week. So get excited for that. We're gonna have a new background. It's gonna look a lot better than this thing that's been behind me for the last few months. So get excited for that. But in the meantime, I'm kind of in a jerry-rigged setup, so don't be too mad at me. With our first topic, we're just talking about some stuff that don't be surprised if this happens. Kind of don't be surprised if segment. Starting with St. Brown, don't be surprised if St. Brown has a huge game. So here's my thinking on this. Even though he is the main target for us and the Ravens secondary is very good and talented, Vanoy is out. So Goff's going to have way more time in the pocket to make decisions, to look for his playmaking guys. And we've already seen what JMO does to these defenses once he gets more involved. He spreads the secondary out. It allows for the underneath stuff to be a lot easier. And if Goff's going to get extra time, it's going to allow those plays to happen. And St. Brown's going to be open a lot more often than he normally would be because JMO is going to be in there disrupting, pulling safeties away, stuff like that. Also, in his two career games against the Ravens, St. Brown has recorded 14 catches for 104 yards. He was targeted 20 times in these matchups, averaging 52 receiving yards per game. So it's not a fantastic stat line. I guess you could say he's due, but that's not really a prediction. It's like, oh, sure, he's due because he hasn't had a good matchup with them so far. And with Van Noy being out, it definitely gives me more hope for him to have that bigger game. Plus, this was before JMO was an integral part of our offense. So now that he is more involved, they're going to have to cover JMO over top. Because if not, he's just going to run away with a bunch of touchdowns despite their really good safety core. And that's just going to allow St. Brown to get so much other stuff going on underneath. I think, honestly, he's going to be a reception monster this game if we get our rhythm going, right? I'm not sure how establishing the run is going to be against this team, but I definitely think we could start getting the underneath stuff going to St. Brown. And then when they're not suspecting it, oh, now JMO's open. And now they're going to have to make that 50-50 call. Double team JMO, double team St. Brown. Or what about the other receivers we have on our team, right? So don't be surprised if that happens. Also, don't be surprised if Gibbs has a slow game. Then we might predict he'll have. Jahmyr Gibbs has 126 all-purpose yards against the Ravens in his career, which is a small total due to him only playing one game against them. In that 2023 game, he had 17 carries for 80 rushing yards and one reception for only 2 receiving yards. The Baltimore Ravens have a strong run defense. Let's get that out of the way. They've only allowed 1,361 rushing yards, which is the least in the NFL, at a league low of 3.6 yards per carry as of September of 2025, indicating that they just have an elite run defense in Baltimore. Finally, two guys that we just got to look for who are going to be huge playmakers on this Baltimore defense. Roquan Smith being the big one. He's that linebacker. He has a strong defensive grade of 90.4 in week 2 of this season. And Kyle Hamilton recorded a 93.4 overall grade, and it was the highest graded safety in week 1. So they have run stoppers. They know what our game plan is. They know we have Monty and Gibbs, the dual-headed dragon. They're going to absolutely be putting their linebackers on assignments to be plugging holes. So we're going to absolutely have to watch for that. Which also scares me is because we like to get that play action going. If we can't get the run established, it's not going to allow Jared Goff to really effectively sell play action plays. So it's definitely going to have to be a lot for Gibbs, and if we can't get him going, we're not going to be able to get that going. I think Jahmyr Gibbs won't have a terrible game, but I think he's going to have a slower game than a lot of people predict, and I don't think he's going to have the huge game that fantasy owners are wanting from him. So just don't be surprised. Finally, don't be surprised if Lamar Jackson has contained this game better than usual. We have the help from quarterback/wide receiver Malik Cunningham, who's giving us those little inside tips, right? We have a better chance at knowing what Lamar might do in a pressure situation. Working on containment and pressure has also been a high focus point of this week of practice for the Lions, and Lamar Jackson performs exceptionally well when under pressure, consistently ranking among the league's best in advanced metrics like extended points added, under pressure, and having the highest boom percent plays when under duress. He's the only quarterback in the league to have positive EPA under pressure, and by a wide margin in the 2024 and so far in the 2025 season. So that doesn't make it sound like we're going to contain very well. Well, we're aware of these stats. These are the stats we are aware of, and we've been practicing all week with a former Raven who is a dual threat quarterback in college, to kind of figure out what the best course of action is going to be for not letting him get outside the pocket, not letting him extend plays, which is what he does the best, right? Keeping him inside the pocket and forcing him to make plays that he might not even be comfortable with half the time because the coverage is going to be good, hopefully, right? So I think keeping him in the pocket and keeping him contained is going to be our high focus point. And if Hutch and Al-Qadim Muhammad can do a good job of keeping him on that inside point, then we can have some of our other guys make sure we stop him if he tries to roll out. That's then the linebacker's job to have a spy on Lamar every single play, Calvin Shepard. Every single play, there's a spy on Lamar Jackson. Oh my gosh, if he gets out and bounces for a 60-yard run because we didn't have a spy on him, I'm going to lose my mind. Just don't be surprised if we contain him well, though. That's all I have for that segment. I thought those were the three big things I wanted to cover. Let me know what you guys think about that. Am I wrong about Gibbs having? You think Gibbs is going to have a big game? You think St. Brown's going to be locked up all game? And do you think Lamar Jackson's going to run all over our defense? I think he might, but I also think we're going to do a lot better job at containing him than we did last time. With that being said, we're going to move to our second topic. Just some Lions injuries before the game, and there are some big ones that I saw and made me go, uh-oh. So here we go. First, DJ Reed, our corner we got in free agency, is questionable with a knee injury. That's definitely not good. We were just talking about the coverage being hopefully good, and we're going to definitely need him to keep that up, especially with the man style we have been playing. Kirby Joseph is questionable with a knee injury as well. That one is not good. Remember the big thing was as long as our safety duo is together, they're fine. But the backups behind both of them are nowhere near on the level of Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. It's probably going to be Avonte Maddox who has to step up if he's not there. And I'm not sure that Avonte Maddox is going to be able to contain the very fast, high-powered offense the Ravens like to run. Kirby Joseph is definitely going to be our hard-hitting free safety. We need to be back there to prevent stuff from going way over the top. Jack Campbell is questionable with an ankle injury. And we've talked all week, last week, about how Jack Campbell is going to be the guy we need for this game, to hunt down Lamar, to be on him, to make sure he doesn't bounce outside for these big runs. And if Jack Campbell's out, that's not good. We do have a very deep linebacker room right now, so it's not like a bad thing of depth. But for this game specifically, I think Jack Campbell is going to be one of those difference makers on defense, and we are going to have him. So hopefully he's okay to suit up. Davenport is confirmed out with that chest injury, so Al-Qadim Muhammad is stepping up. I mean, we kind of saw it coming. I'm not super surprised. Hopefully he gets better soon. They said it's not going to be a season-ending injury, but he's definitely going to be out for this week. So we're just going to have to see how he progresses, but I hope he gets better soon. I have faith in Al-Qatim Muhammad, and I'm excited to see what he does Monday, or rather tonight, because who knows? Maybe he has this big game and we don't even need Davenport. Let's see what he does. And finally, Taylor Decker, is questionable with a shoulder injury. He's been dealing with this since he got out of Ohio State. I mean, he needs to be back, right? Because he's one of those leaders on our O-line, and he's incredibly talented in the pass blocking game, which right now that Vanoy's out, we got to take all the advantages we can on that front. I think if Dan Skipper does have to go in, I'm not scared. I think Dan Skipper is going to be fine. He's a mountain of a man, and with their best pass rusher out, he can be able to do his job holding up the tackle position. But of course, having Taylor Decker in would be the better scenario, right? Just saying. Love them both. Having Decker in would be better. But yeah, I think, honestly, I gave you my takes on how all these are going to affect our game. But let me know what you guys think. Have you heard anything? Let me know in the comments. Have you heard anything about these guys? And I am going over these injuries not like an hour before the game starts. So obviously there could be some changes. Let me know in the comments if there are any changes. I will definitely be keeping my eye out on the injury report later. Finally, finally, my final game prediction for Monday night. So just kind of an accumulation of what we've talked about all week, different predictions and this. What is my final say on what's going to happen during this game? So multiple key contributors are ruled out for both teams. Not for us yet, but there's a chance that they are ruled out in the end. So it could definitely be an interesting game of whose guys out are affecting the team more than the other, and whose backups can step up and do a better job. I think that's going to be a huge part in this game. The Ravens will also be without defensive tackle Justin Madubuike, tight end Isaiah Likely, fullback Patrick Ricard, and Madubuike's absence is especially significant for them because he posted 2 sacks in the first 2 weeks and has been one of the league's most consistent interior disruptors for the past 3 seasons. So without him being there, without Vanoy being there, Goff's going to have time, man. Goff's just going to have to make the right reads. Interceptions cannot happen this game, right? Interceptions cannot be a part of the equation. Any free turnovers we give this team without their turnover people is just giving them more room than we should. And I make the right reads, Jared Goff. Know that these guys are gone, but also don't take your sweet time back there, right? And in his place is going to be rookie Anais Peebles, who's expected to see extended snaps. And head coach John Harbaugh has gone and expressed his confidence that the sixth-round pick can make plays both in stopping the run and stopping the pass. So we'll just have to see on what he does there. I'm not too sure if he's going to surprise us. I would hope he doesn't, but let's hope that we're able to hold off the rookie backup in this case. Led by Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jahmyr Gibbs, Detroit's offense has the firepower to challenge a depleted Ravens defense. Oddmakers still favor the Baltimore Ravens at minus 4.5, with Dimer's simulations giving the Ravens a 68% chance of winning still. But those are computers. If we keep Derrick Henry contained and don't let him bounce outside for huge gains, we can slow the momentum of their offense very, very fast. If the whole point of practice this week has been to contain Lamar Jackson, then our run defense, which is good, our defensive tackles are good at stopping the run, and we have very good linebackers for that purpose. We'll be able to slow their momentum down. Lamar won't be able to rely on Derrick Henry and his bulldozing ability every single play. He can't make something happen, right? I think the biggest challenge and the biggest impact factor for us is going to be how well we can pressure Lamar, not containing like I talked about earlier, but pressuring him. Giving the two-time MVP extra time outside the pocket to extend plays, which first of all is what he does the best, is going to devastate our chances to win if we consistently give him extra chances to extend plays. Lamar Jackson averaged 6.1 passing yards per attempt from outside the pocket across his career, with a career passer rating of 93.3 from outside the pocket. Oh my God. His most recent available stats for the 2025 season show 9.0 passing yards per attempt in total, indicating a very strong overall passing efficiency throughout this year. Getting him out of the pocket is not going to be good enough. We have to ensure that there is a sack, or we are at least forcing a play, an uncomfortable play, right? A pass out of bounds, a pass downfield to a guy he's not sure about. We can't have him roll out and be alone for 3 seconds. There has to constantly be a guy in his face or right on his shoulder. That needs to happen. If they become a check down offense, it definitely helps our chances, but we always need to be careful about the explosive play potential because of their roster. Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins, for heck's sake. I mean, he could always be a factor. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. These are guys that always have the potential to pop off for a huge run or a huge gain after they've been slowly moving down the field. So we can't sleep at all during this game. We have to constantly be aware of their playmakers and their ability to do anything at any point in the game. Our potential injuries could make this an uphill battle for us on defense if Kirby Joseph's out, if Jack Campbell's out, and Davenport's out already. If Kirby, Joseph, and Campbell are out, this is going to be a much different conversation. I'm going to hope that they come back and that they're ready. They're not out. They're just questionable. But having them in is going to be a huge part of our plan, especially with what they do. Kirby Joseph being the hard-hitting guy, keeping everything underneath, and then Jack Campbell being the quick, big linebacker, blocking runs, stopping Derrick Henry, also being the spy to watch Lamar Jackson. He's going to be super, super duper, duper important. And if he's not there, Alex Anzalone is going to have a lot on his shoulders. So that's what I think about that. Let me know what you guys think. We are going to quickly move to our final topic. Just asking some of your comments. Brent DeWitt said, since I heard from a Ravens guy that their guards have been struggling massively, I like to see how much push our defensive tackles are getting up the middle. Yeah, no, that's a good point. If you hear that this is a thing, I haven't heard too much about their guard situation, like specifically, but if there's something going wrong on the interior part, this could be Tyleik Williams' game to really show why we picked him in the first round. I think Tyleik Williams can have an absolute crazy game here alongside a vet like DJ Reader. They could have a field day if the guards aren't doing well. And then if that forces them to really pinch their O-line more, our outside guy, our Hutch, Al-Qadi Muhammad, they could eat on that outside. If they pinch the line, force Lamar to kind of stay up in the pocket, it's going to allow our outside guys to have a field day. I really like what you're saying here, Brent DeWitt, and I'd really like to see what our defensive linemen could do as well. Thank you so much for your comment. Second, Superman24 says, Malik Cunningham will help the Lions out immensely in preparation for the Ravens and Lamar. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, his passing stats were decent in college, but what really stands out are his rushing stats. He had over 1,000 yards and 20 touchdowns on the ground in 2021. Plus, he played for the Ravens. That was a good find by Holmes. Let's see if it works out. If we can contain Lamar, they will have to rely on Henry, and that's where Tyreek has to step up, which I think he can do. Of course, our corners and safeties have to have a great game because Lamar is just under 70% completion percentage for the first two games. I predict a somewhat high-scoring game. Take the over. I agree with everything you say here. We kind of said Tyreek Williams is going to have to step up. Jack Campbell is going to have to step up. Our amazing run stopping defense, I'm not saying that they're not, but they're going to have to show that they are. That all the news hasn't just been for nothing, right? They're absolutely going to have to show up, and I think that if they do, we'll have a great game. It's going to have to start with stopping easy stuff. Derrick Henry averaging 6 yards a carry. That can't happen. Lamar moving outside the pocket and getting free yards every time he gets pressure up front. That can't happen. It's going to have to be a lot on the guys who have high ceilings to really show that their ceilings are that high this game. And I completely agree with you. I also think Holmes did a great job picking him up. I don't know how long he's going to stay with us, but I'd like to keep him. Apparently, he's been doing good in the wide receiver room, and he's honestly just been giving good advice to everyone. So great pickup all around. And yeah, let's go Lions. With that being said, we are way out of time today. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Lions, the special episode of Lions Latest. If you made it to this point in the video, comment down below what your predictions are for this game tonight. What do you guys think? And if you're watching this after the game ended, what are your biggest takeaways from the game, win or lose, for future Bryan? Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, smash the bell so you never miss a single video here on Lions Latest. Go Lions, baby. Let's beat the Ravens and enjoy the rest of your day.